And now I feel like you lot are one of the few clubs that have been like, you know what? We see the vision. And I'll be honest with you, when I watched your All or Nothing, was when even I was like, you know what?
It might be the truth.
I hear it. Because even like the things he was saying weren't like, we assume, oh, he's a tactical and doing all these. Nah. Passion, desire, mentality. It was like just back to basics. It was simplifying everything. It was like talking to the players like they're humans. And I was like, my God, I thought this was like X'd out of the game completely. So when I saw it, I was like, yo,
he's quite old school.
I quite like this guy, you know, even though he's the opposite. I hear it.
Well, he grew up under David Moyes, isn't it?
100%. Real men. A real men era. Now that's been the positive feedback. Like, and that's why when United fans are now struggling a little bit, there's a massive contingent where they're like, we saw them man get 3 years. We want our 3 years.
I look at the way other clubs have kind of like rebuilt themselves. Let's look at Arsenal. Obviously, they aren't at like the Liverpool City, but like they're in the process of slowly becoming a top
competitive team now.
They had to make uncomfortable decisions, right? You talk about like Rashford on these wages that he's on yet. Aubameyang was a similar situation, and they basically just like cut their losses. And it's going to be a long-term process in terms of that.
And there is going to be moments. You're mentioning Arsenal, and I don't want to use Arsenal as the barometer for they don't want anything, but they had Saka come through. They had Emile Smith-Rowe. People forget Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka had major reason why Arteta's still here. They went crazy when it was looking very sticky for Arteta. They kept that man in the job.
They gave him the results at that time.
So you're going to need some academy players. You're going to need people that are always on the same kind of wave.
If you were looking at any other projects outside of Manchester City in the Premier League at the minute, I'm sorry, you want to be on board an Arsenal train.
It's very early. It's very early for the project, and we'll see how they get on next year.
But if you are a young player, they've got a young squad that's ambitious and excitable to watch. And, you know, for even this is me as a Tottenham fan saying it, who absolutely hates Arsenal, and all of you know that. But if I was a young player and, you know, Man City wasn't on the table, which is now isn't, of course I'd go to Arsenal. Chelsea at the moment, you don't know what on earth the project is. Tottenham are well out of it at the moment. Liverpool, they are, you know, arguably, okay, you'd go to Liverpool. But again, they've got no Champions League football for next year. So if you are Declan Rice, the obvious answer and you want to stay in London is Arsenal.
I'm starting to believe in Arsenal. I really am. I really am. I think my boy might lead you to the title.
Why would Declan Rice go to Arsenal? You know, why would he not go to Man City? Man City deliver you trophies. Now, listen, you can win trophies at Manchester City. They've just done a treble, 100%. But there is something in going to an Arsenal team that are on the cusp of potentially winning big trophies. I'm hoping, you know, that they don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Of course. But they're on the cusp. They are making moves in the right trajectory to try and do that. Listen, I'm a rival and I'm not best pleased, but I'm going to give you my non-biased take. This is an incredible deal.
The team I've enjoyed watching the most, being completely unbiased this season, is Arsenal. They've made the best football.
It's big.
They are banging form. I never say it. I'm just being honest, right?
Because for once,
I'm just being honest, right? If you had to look at the way a team plays football, Arsenal have been the most consistent, especially since Christmas in this period. If you were going to start any type of consistency, it needed to be this side of the season, in my opinion. I think that the way that you're on, the way you're scoring goals, the way you're playing, if you go there and you get a result, I think everything is in your favour. Obviously, you've still got big games to come, but I feel like the pendulum like swings a little bit in your favour, and the confidence that team mentally would have across the squad, across the fan base, everything, I feel like that's a massive driving factor to try and take you over the edge and win the league.
And I'm going to give you your flowers because this seems different to what I've seen in the previous seasons.
Yeah, you always say that.
No, this seems different. This seems like
Nicky's saying that
they've you know,
trouble.
They didn't start too well. They kept up with the race. All of a sudden, this time last year, it started to fall apart a little bit. This seems like the time now when they're starting to excel.
Win the league.
And
no chance.
And it's possible.
And I want to. As well, so you got to give him that one. Yeah, you give your champion.
I'm gonna give it to Kai Havertz.
Hey, you know what?
No, I'm gonna be real. Because
humility,
bro, you dunked on two of your ops in the same week with 3 goals. And of course, all the other bits of the game that you brought to it as well. Yeah. Shit on me, shit on you. Fair enough. Like it's crunch time. These are big games. We were there to spoil the party. He didn't let us, so we have to give you your flowers. Like we gonna give it to you this week. Fair.
Only Liverpool are gonna be.
I'd say you haven't been. The only thing I'd say is that you look a bit more mature this season. Obviously, last season you were absolutely flying.
That was mature yesterday.
Yeah, it was. I think, and that's the difference. Maybe that's why people think that you're not as good, but actually it's a much more mature Arsenal.
Because in years gone by, like Flex said, you lose that game. Someone messes up.
Arsenal are not a joke of a team anymore. No. You can't even banter with Arsenal because people are like, hold on, who are you talking to? Do you know what a team is? the fact that Arsenal at some point this season were saying stadiums are emptying everywhere we go. This is Arsenal talking about. We're talking about Arsenal at their prime Barcelona, like before, like Harlem Globetrotters, before they get to stadiums, like they've won games.
Yeah.
For me, it's testament to like how far they've come, and even if they want to win the title this year, you know that they're going to compete.
This season, it's like if you look at the goals scored, then in and around the same. Goals conceded, they're in and around the same.
Well, actually, it's less the goals that they're conceding this
so
year.
it's like
I think
metrically they're all the same there, but stylistically they're not convincing us, if you like. And I was like, are they doing the Liverpool thing where they're a little bit more difficult to break down, but they're still just as dangerous?
I think that they're more mature this year, Arsenal. I think it's great to have that exciting champagne football. But I think ultimately when you're going for a title, and they probably didn't have the squad depth, and you know, missing Saliba was a big miss for them as well. But I think that's where the inexperience maybe, and just the excitement of the whole situation kind of let them down towards the end of the season, kind of in that last couple months. So I think this year that's what they've learned from, and they are City, and they're very, very similar in the way that they play.
Honestly, I'm worried about them, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Like you said, they finish everything that comes their way now, and it's because of Arteta in January or whenever it was when they come back from Dubai from that break, and he swapped Havertz over and went, right, you're going to play this role now, lad, and now he's scoring bags of goals. They're unreal. How many goals have they scored? 27. How many have they conceded? 4. This is a terrifying football team, lad. I'm not joking, like, credit to them.
I still got them meat picks from Dubai, man, waiting to drop them.
It's mad.
Them Arteta ones.
It's mad, lads.
You know, and this
one again.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Underrated player, man.
Do you know what the
Very
difference?
good.
The difference between when I look at you this year to last year, and obviously at Christmas we were all talking about you probably don't look the same, and you didn't really. Around Christmas you still looked a little bit weak, but you've gone into a different gear which you didn't have this time last year, or were about to fall off. You look like you've got leaders. And that is, I think, a very big difference between you last year and you this year. And I look at the likes of the Gabriels and obviously Rice and even Saliba. Those are your leaders. You've got the spine of your team completely spot on.
A lot of them have learned from last year.
Yeah, they have. They definitely have. And I think that you're a different animal this year, especially coming into, you know, the latter part of the season. But those set pieces, you're incredibly well drilled. You come out the blocks absolutely firing, like Matisse said, you suffocate teams in the opening kind of 15 minutes, which is what you want. That's how you set the tone and the precedent for the game.
I think I have to give them massive credit is how they handled the emotions of the day, because last year you almost saw them get undone by this period of the season, this kind of run of fixtures or whatever, but this was almost like a coming of age, if you like, because it shows that one, they've learned the lessons from last year, but then once you take that lead as well and those goals start trickling in, bro, it's easy to fall into that kind of all right, let's just capitulate type of thing. But the fact that they actually saw the game out as well, and listen,
I think it's 10 hours Arsenal haven't conceded away from home.
Was it the 5 games before that as well? They hadn't conceded.
6,
So I think what you said is there's been improvements last season, and I think, listen, being the hater I am, I've been praying, you know, hey man, there's a chink in the armor somewhere. Left. Bro, it's looking spooky.
Bro, you gotta let that shit go, bro. What did I tell you all season, bro? Your agenda isn't stronger than Arsenal.
It's
that's the truth, bro.
Objects.
Unstoppable.
Arsenal's unstoppable.
Yeah, bro. All you can do is try, right? All season I've been trying to cook up something. I've been reverse psychology. Oh, I know. Let me call them favourites. Maybe that will do something. It's been difficult, man. But
you know when you're playing, when you're playing a game or something and the game's not working. So you act like you're like looking away, innit?
You look away, pretend you don't
loads
care.
Up. That's what you're gonna have to do now. Just like I don't care.
You know, if they win it, they win it, innit?
You just look like this.
I've seen them doing Invincible.
Oh, no.
Normally don't matter.
If they do it, they win.
Normally don't matter. I've seen them do the Invincible. It's not gold.
Yeah,
it's not gold.
And even though I feel like we all wanted a bit more, you know, attractive football yesterday, we wanted Arsenal to really have a go. I feel like it was a very smart display from Arsenal, considering you conceded, I think it was 7 across the 2 games last year. This year, none conceded against City. And for me, I just thought if you can go to the Etihad and get a draw, like, it doesn't have to be a great game of football. You get in, get out, you get a point. And I thought it was smart. You learn not to try and match City toe to toe, which is what you did last year and obviously failed at it. And, you know, I think if it was anyone else, you'd be commending your own team, saying that, you know, you come out with a point.
Arsenal and this, I think, let's call it what it is. The way Arsenal perform, this Arsenal team for me are going to be very, very about for a long time. I saw a conversation which they likened this Arsenal squad to an early Liverpool squad of when you made the 1 or 2 signings, then it's like, okay, how do you then push it further? How do we get those few little signings that mean that we're solidified? I think the foundation that they've built upon with Raya's going to be signed on a permanent. The 2 centre halves, as we say, probably the best partnership in the world. Yeah. You have fullbacks that are able to play at whatever time. Credit to Arteta.
Even Jorginho, let's be honest, Jorginho and Trossard, the roles they've played.
They've played, exactly.
When it was January, when they were being signed, they were
let's
seen
get Mudryk.
as lesser signings. It was meant to be Mudryk and Caicedo. Remember, it was Caicedo. We're going to get that. But the fact that the role they've played, even Havertz being signed in the summer.
If they're to win the league, you would say that the 2 Chelsea boys have played a pivotal part in it.
Crazy.
And what you have to remember is, people laughed at when it was the Arsenal boys, Zinchenko and Jesus. What did they say? There's a reason why they got let go from City, because they wouldn't cross over the line. So you're telling me they're going to take 2 Chelsea former boys, 2 former City boys,
2 Chelsea rejects, 2 City rejects, and turn it into a title-winning team.
Boy,
that's got to put that down to the manager, lads.
And that's what I'm saying. You have to have serious conversations about Arteta, about not only his profile and understanding, but how he's put this team together.
They needed to have the sting of defeat so that they could build the fire in the belly to win the leagues and win the titles. Still haven't done it yet, but they're by far the best team in the league.
When Arteta took over, I don't think. I mean, you would have seen Arsenal kind of returning to some capacity.
Do you remember? Where
I mean, now they're in a quarterfinal against Bayern Munich, where I think, from what I'm hearing, about 70% of people I'm asking are like, Arsenal are going through. I'm like, do you see how the narrative has completely changed? Now they're competing with Liverpool and City as well.
Because they're showing us, that's why.
You actually really have to give Arteta his flowers.
I want to go to that point.
You've actually turned it around.
Let's
built it.
Arsenal fans will know, but let's take it back. When Arteta got to Arsenal, right? This was peak banter era. This was the swag era. It was the
bring it back.
It was the swag.
I miss those days.
It was the like a boom. It was like a boom. What else did you have? You had flipping dance competitions.
It was
in the changing room.
Laka, boom.
That's what it was.
I remember the other day we used to go there and just win, outmuscle them, outpower them, and that's why I knew that they had no chance. I knew that because I had just faced it. I said they killed us and they're gonna kill you next. The strength, the set pieces. It's overwhelming, honestly. That back 4 that they were able to play today, and then they go and put the pivot in front. Of course, they save Rice and Partey for us. I ain't seen these 2 together all season. I've seen Jorginho. At least maybe you can get amongst him, bully him because of his size.
The way they shut down Madders today.
What was that? Partey and Rice together for the first time.
Yeah. Today, I thought tactically they got it spot on.
He looked so
Rice and Partey, every time he got it, they were just clamps. And as soon as he beat one, the second one came in clamps. So it was like, you know what? You're just getting no room to breathe today. And I think they learned that from the first game. Because remember the first game, the 2-2, he was the man of the match. So it was like, you ain't going to come and have your fun. And I was thinking, if we can keep Odegaard quiet, we actually stand a chance in the game. We managed to do that, and they still controlled it through those 2. So for me, I just thought today, tactically, they got it spot on.
You've got to give them massive credit. Obviously, like in terms of not just how they went up 3-0 quickly, but how they just seemed calm in your stadium, bro. Like, I think the way Arsenal went into that so calm, because look, one thing that we kept saying before the game is don't play to the emotions, don't play to the occasion. Just play your game. And Arsenal just looked like that's exactly what they did. They went in there calm.